Good evening, Frank. This is Ryan with TrendLizard.com. I hope all is well. I hope you had a great week and getting ready for a fun weekend. I know I am. Thank you for the email. I'm going to take a look at 3 stocks for you tonight. We're going to take a look at Generac Holdings, GNRC, Trane Technologies, TT, as well as Xylem. I might be saying that wrong, XYL. Starting with Generac. So Generac was incepted back in 2010. Gave us a nice trendy 5-wave up move into the 2014 high, stalled out there, pulled back for a couple years with a very clear ABC pullback. Since then, the low established in 2016, it's been on a tear to the upside in a 5-wave move that is not yet complete. So until this 5-wave move completes, we're going to be bullish on Generac because trendy moves play out in 5 waves, and clearly this one has not yet completed. So let's go ahead and zoom in on the current trendy move off of that 2016 low. It started off pretty slow. First wave, second wave. Looks like another first wave, second wave. This yellow circle here, this is when things really became interesting to the upside. Things became much sharper. From then, it's gone from about, I think, 45 or so up to its current level, about 440. I think it's been about as high as 460, maybe a little below there. But as you can see, the advance definitely got sharper off of this, looks like late 2018 low. And what is very apparent off of this low is a very clear 1, 2, 3, 4 in the 5th wave move. So we have a 5-wave move that's in development. Now, when this 5-wave move completes, we have to be on guard for a much larger pullback, something to offset this second wave here. So we would be looking for a large 4th wave here. The second wave took over a year to play out. So it'll be a larger move when this 5-wave move completes. So that's something we need to be cognizant of and take a look and see if there's a chance that that 5-wave move may be nearing an end right now. And if we zoom in, I think the answer is no. So if we're just looking at this price action right here, what we're seeing is a counter trend 4th wave pullback. Then we had this nice trendy up move here and then another counter trend pullback. So to me, this looks like the first and second wave within that larger 5th wave to the upside. That still looks bullish. This looks like a pretty solid setup for higher prices. Bottom line for me on Generac, I want to see to stay above 350. As long as it does, I'm going to be bullish on this guy. And it looks like a great trading opportunity in the meantime. I mean, once it completes this 5-wave move, obviously, I think you're going to want to step aside and let these larger pullbacks play out. If you're holding it on a longer-term basis, you can wait for this to become a larger 5-wave move, but you may be sitting through a lot of sideways movement like you saw back here. For me, I think the play is stay bullish as long as it's in this 5-wave move. And if we look at the near-term action, again, it looks like it still wants to head higher based on counter-trend price action to the downside and the fact that GNRC is still above 350. So bullish against 350 on GNRC. So let's go ahead and shift on over to TT. This is Trane Technologies. This guy has also been in a massive uptrend. Absolutely beautiful stuff. Clearly very big trendy upside movement here. From that high in the late 90s, it gave us a very large ABC pullback, very similar to the overall market. And then off of that low in 2009, it's been in a very large 5-wave move to the upside. Gave us a first, second wave, and has been in a large 3rd wave advance since then. Similar to the last one, what we're seeing is within that 3rd wave advance, a first, second, third, 4th, 5th wave playing out here. Pretty clear, pretty obvious. I don't think I'm making a big statement or getting creative in any way to just say that this is a 5-wave move that appears to be nearing completion. It appears that the up leg off the 2020 high is in a 5th wave. So we want to, again, just drive in on this action to see how close we might be to a completion of this 5-wave move to the upside, because when it does happen, when it does complete, you are going to get a larger pullback, something like we saw back here. I think this was about 27 to about, maybe about halved. It probably got halved or so with that second wave pullback. So the 4th wave pullback that's going to emerge after the completion of this 5-wave up leg would have to be respected as well. So let's just go ahead and zoom in on this price action here. This takes a closer look at that advance off the 2009 low. Very clear 5-wave move for wave 1. Again, that big pullback, that halved price back in 2011. And all of this price action, again, fitting as a large 3rd wave advance. Now, if this 3rd wave advance ended today, it would point down a retracement in that 4th wave correction that we would be looking for, would point down to 85 to 130. So that would be a pretty substantial move, depending on your time frame. You could sit through that if you want to sit or wait for the entire 5-wave advance to complete. As far as I'm concerned, I don't like sitting through any larger pullback, so I would probably exit as soon as we feel confident that this big 5-wave move has completed off of the 2011 low. So the key then is when this 5th wave becomes a trendy 5-wave move and begins to break down itself, it's time to probably step aside on this guy. So let's go ahead and just zoom in on this price action off the 2020 low. Doesn't look like it's that far away from completing. If we look at the kind of the developments that have taken place off of that 2020 low, we got a 2nd wave, a nice 5-wave move for wave 3, 4th wave pullback, and we appear to be in 2021 the 5th wave of a 5th wave, not to get too confusing here, but within the larger 3rd wave. So wave 5 of 5 within that final movement of wave 3 is what it looks like to me. So got to be fairly careful there, but let's go ahead and zoom in on what's happened in 2021 to see if we can figure out more. This is that action here. Again, you can see some action that could be construed as a 5-wave movement, could be getting very close. So let's boil it down to the key levels that you need to be watching that will really determine the intentions of Trane Technologies. If it moves below 185 at any point, to me that would be the very first warning signal that a high could be in and that this up leg in 2021 is over. As is, I'm not convinced that's going to happen right away. We're seeing a recovery here. It moved a bit above 200. If TT moves above 200 and is able to get back to the high that was established in August, it's just proof that the high is not in yet and higher prices have to be expected. So these are the key levels I'm watching. A move below 185 puts me on guard. If I see any trendy downside action here, I'm calling it good on TT and thinking that a more important high is in place with a larger 4th wave correction beginning at that point. But if it can stay above 200, stay towards the high here, we're just going to continue riding it like we're doing with so many things on the market because nothing wants to pull back right now. So it's hard to be fully scared of actual pullbacks forming at this time until we actually see it start happening because the market has been so resilient. So those are the levels I'm looking at. Now, if it does stay above 200 and starts moving to new highs, I think we would look at this advance in 2021 and say, okay, maybe it's not a 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th wave. Maybe it's something more like this where we had a 1st, a 2nd wave, and we're still in a 3rd wave and kind of an extended 3rd wave advance. So it's possible that there's still work to do. That's why we want to keep an eye on this 185 level. As long as it's staying above there, you can be bullish. But if it moves below there, this labeling is no longer possible. You'd have to think that maybe that high is in and a much larger pullback has begun. So there's that guy. Let's go ahead and move on now to XYL. Xylem. This guy has not been around as long. It was incepted back in 2010, chopped around a bit. Off of that 2013 low, it became very directional. It's gone from about 22 up to about 140, closed at 135 this week. This thing just jumps off the chart. It looks like a 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th wave. I don't think there's any creativity in this labeling. It looks very obvious. So again, the question becomes, where are we in this 5th wave? Because when this 5th wave completes, we have to anticipate a much larger pullback because that's what happens following 5-wave moves. Once they complete, they get corrected. If this was to be corrected by a Fibonacci portion, so from 38.2% to 61.8% of the distance of this move, it would point down here, and this is from about 65 to about 93 or so. So we'd be looking at a pretty substantial correction once this 5th wave completes, and it should last a pretty substantial amount of time considering that this has been a 9-year up move so far. So when we get a completion of this up leg here, this 5th wave, it would be time to exit, in my view, and get out of the way for that larger counter trend, potentially multi-year correction that will be due at that point. So let's go ahead and zoom in on this price action off the 2020 low. Here's a look at it. It was a fairly slow start. Looks like a leading diagonal for wave 1, a deep 2nd wave retracement, and everything since then appears to be a 3rd wave. If this 3rd wave off of the March 2020 low were to end, a correction in wave 4 would point down here. But overall, I still think that there's work to do before this guy completes to the upside. So let's go ahead and just zoom in on the 2021 price action here. It does look like it is getting closer to maybe being at the end of this 3rd wave advance and a larger 4th wave correction coming to pass at that point. But until it does something wrong, higher prices have to be expected here as well. Now, a move below 120 at any point would be a good indication that, again, this 3rd wave up is completing and you're getting that larger 4th wave correction. But overall, I think it's going to continue higher, give us a 5-wave advance before any larger high is in. But once you get a completed 5-wave move off of that 2020 low, it's going to be time to step aside, like I said, because it looks at that point like you're completing a very large 5-wave advance that will need to go or undergo correction. So bullish against 120, a move below 120 would be a warning signal, and depending on your time frame, I think that would not be a bad point to say, okay, it's time to exit from there. So I hope that's helpful, Frank. Have a great weekend. For anybody who is not yet a member, come visit us at TrendLizard.com. We do this stuff every day, show you how to use Elliott Wave theory in real time, and this stuff works. So y'all have a great weekend. I'll see you next time.